Let's say that you're out at the range, you've got your Marlin rimfire 22 and you're getting your shoot on. And suddenly, a guy comes up on the range and he's got a tricked out Ruger 1022. And you look at it and it's got mods that are beyond belief. And you're thinking to yourself, wow, I wonder if I could do that with my Marlin rimfire. And the answer is, you can actually do a lot of mods with a Marlin rimfire rifle. And that's coming up next on Mostly 22 LR. Hey everybody, Rob Rosenberger here for Mostly 22 LR. Before we go over to the rifles and show you some of the things that you can do to a Marlin rimfire, I want to give a big shout out to the Ruger 1022 community. It is through their efforts and their love for their rifles that we've got basically everything that you see for the Marlins, for the Mossbergs, for the Savages, and even the Remingtons. Everything that you can think of in 22 LR basically has descended from the Ruger 1022. They've got a whole sub-industry that you can do to modify your rifle, to make it your rifle. And with that said, thank you very much for the Ruger 1022s. Thank you very much to the community. Let's go check out these Marlin rifles now. Okay, so we have 3 Marlin rifles on the table here. They're all 22 long rifle. These are all in my personal collection. And they're all model XT22s, but that really doesn't matter. What we're talking about when we come to customizations can really be done to pretty much any rimfire in the contemporary Marlin lineup. That includes the Model 60, the Model 70, the 795, the 925, anything in the 800 series, and of course the Model 39A. If you can find it in the contemporary rimfire line in the Marlin series, you can make these kind of mods to it. So let's go ahead and begin with the first one. Obviously, we'll take a look at this. This one's got a new stock on it. This one started life as a Marlin XT22 SR. The S stands for stainless, and the R stands for synthetic stock, like you would see here. Now, I've deleted the synthetic stock, and I put on a Boyd's Gunstock Industries SS Evolution stock. It's a really aggressive stock, and I picked the Applejack color scheme for it. I could have picked any number of color schemes, including Royal Jacaranda. I could have picked Forest Camo, but what I was going for here was a red, white, and black motif. It's kind of like the White Stripes color scheme. If you're a fan of the band, the White Stripes, you know that color scheme all too well. And so with the Applejack stock, I really got that red, white, and black that I was looking for. Now, one of the things that you can do with your wooden stock is you can go ahead and get some tattoo work done. This is done with laser, and you can take this to pretty much any trophy shop, and you can tell them what you want to do, give them their designs, and they'll put these on your rifle. And I've got a tattoo done on the other side of this rifle as well. So this is just one thing you can do. And Boyd's Gunstock Industries is not the only gun stock out there for the Marlin lineup. You'll also find the ATI Dragunov stock if you're looking for a really aggressive kind of sniper kind of stock. And these are just some of the things that you can do with your stock. Now, one thing that you have to do if you go with a synthetic stock, look here carefully, you see that this synthetic stock has a molded trigger guard. When you switch to wood, you're going to need a replacement trigger guard. And this comes from Diversified Innovative Products. Now, I could have bought the OEM trigger guard from Marlin, but I decided to go with Diversified Innovative Products because they have a better trigger guard, in my humble opinion. It costs a few pennies more, but when you're willing to put a $100 stock on your rifle, why not go with a couple of bucks? But I think it's about $25. And you can go with this and say, yep, I was so adamant about coming up with a custom stock that I even got a custom trigger guard for it. It's just one more way that you can make it sound like your rifle. And since I mentioned Diversified Innovative Products with their replacement trigger guard, you got to go ahead and talk about this Picatinny Rail right here, also from Diversified Innovative Products. I'll include a link to them in the description. This is a really beautiful Picatinny Rail. It's better, I think, than just the simple Weaver scope bases that you can put on here, because I've got all sorts of options now that I can use for this rifle. I can switch out from my rings here, take off this scope, put on a GoPro camera. I could put on a red dot, a laser, holographic sight. I could put a flashlight on this if I wanted to. It's all available to me because I have these Picatinny rails. And of course, once you've got a Picatinny rail, it's time to decide what kind of options you've got. And one of the options that I opted for are quick detach rings. As you can see right here, all it takes is just a screwdriver. Use the appropriate screwdriver, of course, and this will come right off. So you don't have to really dope your scope once you put it back on. It'll be very easy for you to get right back to zero once you take this off. Why would you take it off? Well, you might put a GoPro camera on here, or you might decide to switch to something tactical like a red dot or a laser. Your options are basically unlimited once you put a Picatinny Rail on a Marlin rimfire rifle. So I recommend highly going with some sort of ring system that's way better than the dovetail rings that people go with if you want to make this your rifle. And last but not least for this rifle, some custom threading from Innovative Arms in Elgin, South Carolina. Any gunsmith is probably capable of doing this. Notice here that Marlin was smart enough to recess this front sight just enough so that they could put the threading on here without losing the original crown. We didn't have to cut anything off of here. We just simply milled it for threading. Now this end right here has been parkerized, this thread protector, keeping in mind that I wanted to keep with a red, white, and black motif, kind of like my white stripes motif. So that's just some of the things you can do to a rifle. And let's go on to the next one. Now let's talk about the rifle in the middle here. Again, this one, it could be any rifle. This one just happens to be a model XT22RZ. All the Z means is that it was factory threaded. The R means that it has a synthetic stock, and I like the synthetic stock. There's nothing wrong with it. The only real thing that I've done to customize this is I've put a Picatinny Rail on it from Diversified Innovative Products. Again, look in the description for details on them. But this Picatinny Rail has a very special quality. It has a 25 MOA cant. What that means is that I don't have to torque the vertical in order to get a 200-yard zero on this rifle. And this rifle is zeroed for 200 yards using, listen to me closely, subsonic ammunition. I'm not shooting fast stuff. I'm shooting slow stuff with a big ol' arc. And thanks to this 25 MOA cant, I don't have to crank this turret to get that zeroed properly. So this scope is in alignment very well with the barrel, and the turret is not cranking that inner tube to try and to get it to 200 yards. So if you're looking to shoot very long distances at something, especially targets or varmints or something like that, this 25 MOA cant is the way to go. And it comes from Diversified Innovative Products. And that is a very special Picatinny Rail. It has a 25 MOA cant that comes from Diversified Innovative Products. And we've got a Mueller 25 power scope. And we are going to be shooting to 200 yards. And here at the top, we've got a simple Marlin XT22R. But we've done something interesting to it, something that you can do to a Model 795. You can do it to certain other rifles as well in the Marlin lineup. And that is, we've cut the barrel down to 16.5 inches. Innovative Arms did the custom cutting for me. They threaded it, of course. They recrowned it. And I've added on here the Innovative Arms suppressor. That's the Apex suppressor for 22 long rifle. And if you notice here, I'm going to show you this just so that you see it. My trigger is right on the orange. My trigger is right on the orange. My trigger is right on the orange. And let's go ahead and go back up here, and you can see that even with the suppressor on here, it's actually just a little bit shorter. It's about 1 inch shorter than the regular 22-inch barrel that you would get with a Marlin XT22. Now, this is really nice for when I want to just go out and plink. It's a fantastic rifle. I can take that suppressor with me. I can go into some lightly wooded areas, or I can go into some fields where I would have a tough time carrying this rifle, and it really comes out handling very well. This is a lightweight suppressor from Innovative Arms. It adds very little weight to it. As a matter of fact, I've actually cut the weight by taking all this stainless steel, or not stainless steel, blued steel off, and putting on basically an aluminum suppressor. So this is just one more thing that you can do to a rifle, a Marlin rifle, to make it your rifle. People look at mine now and they go, wow, that's a pretty short rifle. And I'm like, well, I don't have a tax stamp for it. It's 16.5 inches. It is legal to own without a tax stamp, and it is my rifle. Now, this isn't all you can do to a Marlin rimfire rifle. If you go out to Nut and Fancy's channel, for example, you'll see he's got 2 Marlins that he's tricked out. One has a Duracoat across it, absolutely gorgeous to look at, and the other one has a new custom trigger. Check with your gunsmith. I'm sure he'll be able to tell you all sorts of cool things that he can do as well to a contemporary Marlin 22 LR rifle. There's just any number of things that you can do. And once again, I want to give a big shout out to the Ruger 1022 community for trickling down all the cool things that we've got from Marlins and Savages and Mossbergs and Remingtons and you name it. If it's a 22LR, there's a lot you can do to make it yours. I'm Rob Rosenberger for Mostly 22LR. And remember, 22LR is real ammunition. Treat it as such.